It didn't take him long to get back in the swing of things. Daddy went away working on Sunday, but on Monday, I will protect this yard. This is my house. It's Dan the Man on the hunt, eradicating varmin. What are you doing, Dan? What are you looking at, Danny? What are you doing, Dan? Welcome back, Sawmill, everybody. My name's Bill. This is Power Solutions Forestry, and over my shoulder over there down low is Danny. He's on the hunt this morning. I tried to give you a view of him, but oh, there he is. He's up. And we worked all weekend in the freezing cold. Sunday, we put up Brian Carroll's pole barn, at least the structure of it. I still have to go back and put some rafters on, the purlins, and sheathe it with the wood that I'm sitting on 3 sides. But we got the main structure up, all the posts, all the top plates. Everything is tied together. Everything is braced up right now, plumb. And it was a cold, long day. So today is Monday, and I am not in the mood to do anything. However, I do have a couple things I have to do. I have to load up the house with wood. Now with our guests upstairs, I've got to keep the whole house warm. So I'm going through a little more wood than usual this time of the year. And I've got the Bobcat out front with a bucket full. I got to bring that all in the house. That'll get us through probably, I don't know, a week or so. It is Thanksgiving week. We also have to service the sawmill. We've got some cutting to do. Our list just keeps growing and growing and growing. And we are going to have to do some milling tomorrow, weather permitting. Looks like tomorrow's going to be okay. But there are a few pesky things that I wanted to fix on the sawmill. We are going to replace our belts. We have backups on there now because we broke them when we broke the carbide band a couple of weeks ago. If you didn't see that, you can go back and watch that video. I got 2 new sets of belts. We're going to do a little unboxing, see what Norwood sent us. We're going to replace our battery. We're going to lube everything up. We're going to track a brandy new Stellite band, Stella cut band, and put this thing away for the day so we can go in and get some wood inside. But I'm going to take you through, I guess, a basic maintenance on the HD36. We'll check the oil, we'll oil the up and down clutch, things like that. And then we got to go try to make the house warm. Well, keep an eye on this rat. Thanks for coming along. Let's see what's going on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this Stella cut band off, and I'll see if I can get you a view probably later in the video after we go through working on why I'm pulling this off. It still feels pretty sharp, still grabbing my glove, it's still cutting good. Why am I pulling it off? Because I can see glinting on the non-stellite teeth. And I know that if I let it go, can see it in the sunlight here. I know you can't see it, but I'll show it to you later. I know if I let it go, it's going to get real dull, and I'm either going to break it or I'm going to start to get some waves in my wood. We're getting to some stuff like the black oak and the cedar in the background over here that we have to cut, and we have to cut some white oak beams that we don't want to cut a lot of waves in. So we're going to take care of the belts. We're going to clean out the inside of our band wheels. We're going to throw a new band on. We're going to track it perfect. And that will give us flat cuts for at least a couple thousand board feet. And that'll take care of everything that I have lying around right now. So let's get to getting. Take this band off. And again, there's nothing wrong with this band as far as the way it's cutting goes. It is still ripping right through. Just when they start to get dull like this, or what happens with a Stella cut band is because every third tooth is a stellite insert, the stellite inserts stay sharp and the regular teeth are the ones that get dull. So eventually, as they start to dull out, all you're cutting with is the stellite. And when that happens, you can start to get some waves in your wood because the other teeth are kind of rubbing and you're getting different tooth engagement as you're going through the wood. You can kind of get some chewing action. They will go a long way, 3,000 board feet, but doesn't make any sense to leave this on right now. I will put this in my dull rack, and I will know that if I got into a real bad log or something weird, some weird situation where I didn't want to toast a brandy new band, this band's obviously already paid for itself over and over and over again in just the short time I've been using it. But I could pull this off if I get into a bad situation. So this one's done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these belts off. Now, if you have an HD36 version 2, like I do, you do not need to untension this to take it off and to put the other one on. You can, these knuckleheads, every time I post that, I get the comments, why would you ever take a belt off without untensioning the band? I'm not talking about untensioning the band. I'm talking about untensioning the belt. Obviously, you couldn't take this belt off with the band on, but you can take this belt off without untensioning this setup right here, which kind of can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Until you get this right at the right orientation, it can kind of be a pain. But as far as taking it off goes, just a little, get myself all the way down here, just a screwdriver, or, without a screwdriver, I could probably do it. We're just going to pull the belt over. I'm going to roll it backwards. Here, it undoes best from the top. That's wicked hard. That was so hard, I can't even imagine why anybody would ever replace them. I'd just let it go until it was rotten. So this is going to go back in my backup rack because it still was cutting fine. It's not broken. It's not delaminated. It is pretty worn, but there's nothing really wrong with it. So we're going to keep this for a backup belt just in case something real bad happens. And we're going to pull the one off the other side. Sometimes this one can be a little bit more of a challenge. But let's see. Sometimes this one can be a little more of a challenge. Sometimes this one can be a little more of a challenge. Now this belt is newer. This one didn't break. So this one, again, is good for a backup. It does have some buildup on it, but we're going to keep this one with the other one as a backup set. And now what I have to do is I got to check the inside of both band wheels and take off any little chunks of sap and stuff that get in there. And they do get in there. The best way that I've found to do that is with a screwdriver. So if you look inside this band wheel, oh, there's a chunk right there. It's on the inside. I have a hard time with the light here, but you can see it kind of right in there. Oh, there's a big chunk right there. See right there? Here's a big chunk of sap right here. It'll make your belt jump around. So I look through. Oh, there's a huge chunk. There's the noise I was hearing the other day, guys. Remember I was saying there was a noise the other day? Look at this chunk of sap right here. Look at how high it is. That is huge. That'll cause all kinds of problems. That's got to come out. There's another chunk right there. I think you guys get the picture. There's chunks on the inside. There's chunks on the outside. There's a huge chunk right here. Oh my God, that's almost to the top of the V groove. That was what that banging was the other day. And we got to check this one. This one rarely gets stuff in it, but I'm going to show you how to clean them up. Now you can do this with the belt on. What I like to do is I like to just use a regular screwdriver and just basically take the big chunks out first. And then you can just spin it. Wow, this is a huge chunk, guys. It's actually making noise when it's hitting the mill. And then you can just spin it with the screwdriver in there and you'll knock off all the little chunks. Let's see here. Once you get all the big chunks out, what you can do is I like to set the screwdriver on the inside corner and nice and flat against the inside, then I'll spin it. Oh, I hit one there. So if you hit one, so kind of want to, that's too big to just come flying out, so I like chip that out. And once you get it to where it can spin, you can just kind of set the screwdriver in there. Oh, there's another one. And I like to clean that whole inside first. You can tell it's getting clean. You hear that? Now the chunks are gone. Then I go against the inside of the flange on the outside, and I do the same thing. You really, like I said, you can do this with the band on, and I do it most of the time with the band on. So now there's nothing in there. That's all nice and cleaned up. Now those chunks become progressive. And what I mean by that is when there is a chunk in there, stuff will stick to the chunk before it'll stick to the wheel. So that chunk will become bigger. So this is something you should do. I would say if you cut a lot, it almost should be morning maintenance if you cut a lot, especially a lot of softwood. But let's just say that you're not a production mill, but you're not a hobby mill either, say like I am. You probably want to do this at least every time you change a band, and probably maybe every other day or so. I'm going to go ahead and do this side really quick. Same thing. I know you're looking at my back, but I'm just going to make sure there's no chunks in there. This one very rarely gets anything in it. And it's nice and clean now. Now I would grease these band wheels right now, but I just greased them Friday. I just greased these Friday. And you don't really want too much grease. You probably only have to do it maybe once a week. Or if you're cutting a lot, every time you change your band. But you don't want too much grease in here flinging around. It'll stick to everything in here, and you definitely don't want it getting on the inside of your band or on your belts. So that part is done. Let's go see what Norwood sent us. We'll throw a brand new band on, and we will go through tracking procedure. Get this side tightened up before we change the battery. All right, now that I got Danny coming back, because he's heading over to the edge of the yard, let's get this thing ripped open here. And let's see what we got. We got a new battery in here. Here's a couple new belts. These are, those are collars to hold on my band wheels. There's a couple new band wheel bearings in here, which I don't need right now. My band wheel bearings are not bad. And there's another new set of belts in the bottom. We're going to keep them right in this box. And also, I had lying around here, this is a new idler pulley, a tension pulley. I'm going to keep that in there too. But all we need right now is those and this battery. Look at that. All right, so we got a short belt and a long belt and a short belt. And we're going to put the long belt on first. Again, without untensioning this. And what I have found through extensive research, extensive I tell you, is that if you roll it around the bottom first like this, just until it kind of bites in over here somewhere, you kind of hold on to it and then just keep rolling. The belt goes right on. You should be able to turn this belt with 2 fingers 90 degrees if you try real hard. That's correct tension for this. So that one's done. Let's throw the short one on here. Oh, it's inside out. Sometimes these can be a bugger, sometimes they're not. Now, if you're used to changing like tires on bandsaws and stuff like that. This is not as hard as that. Usually you can throw a clamp on, say like you put a clamp on here and then work it from the other side. But I've found that I don't think you need to. I just got a chainsaw scrunch here. Just going to go underneath it. And you should, at least been my experience, that you can just pop it right on. Obviously, you don't want to tear the belt. Really close. Oh, that flip inside out. No, perfect. So you guys know for numbers, if you get them somewhere else, this is a 5L650 4124. And this one, I only get them from Norwood because you can get them without the right outside profile. This is a 5L930. 5L930. This is a it's a B90 or a 5L930. And now that we got those on, let's go ahead. We'll throw a new band on this thing and then we'll get it tracked. And I'll bring you in close when we check the tracking. I'm going to assume, because these are brand new belts, that my tracking's not going to be perfect. It might be, but I'm going to assume it's not going to be. What I like to do when I put a new band on is I like to, before I tension it, I like to line up my gullets, which is where they should be. The bottom of the gullet should be lined up with the face of the band wheel. I like to get them there so it doesn't take many spins to get them right. And then we're going to go ahead and tension this thing up. See that little spring in there, the yellow spring inside? As soon as it starts moving, like it is right there, you want to tension the mill basically until this stops. Forget the 5 turns or 5.5 or all that stuff. I know that mine's 6 1/4, so I shoot for that. Now these belts are going to be tight, so it might tighten up before that. Not sure, or later than that. But I know that mine's 6 1/4, and that this T-handle, when it does stop, it should end up sideways. But you can over reef on this and bend it, so you don't want to go 500-pound gorilla. And when it does bottom out, try to keep going. So I just know from experience, mine's 6.5, so half, half, 2, half, 3, half, 4, half, 5, half, 6, and it should stop right there, which is right where it did. 6 1/4, that's how mine goes every time. There is a bushing, a spacer, so to speak, in the middle of that chain on that threaded rod. The middle of the chain, Lord Almighty. Oh, Nathan, you got me infected. The spring in here, which what the spring does is the spring takes shock load. The way this is designed is that you're supposed to tighten this down until you come to rest against that bushing spacer, and then it stops right here. Now, trust me, guys, I could bend inside this thing if I really put the beans to it right now. You just want to go, you can feel it stop right there until it stops. That's Norwood's recommendation. And now I'm just going to check the tracking quick. Hopefully it's off so we can adjust it. One telltale sign that everything's good and close and that you're running the right size band and all this other stuff is that you should be able to spin this thing like no problem right now. And I got good news, tracking is off a little bit. It should spin easily. If you run too big a band on this, like 1.5 055 or something like that, when you do what I'm doing, it won't spin. It'll be really, really hard to turn it because those bigger bands don't like turning around this size band wheel. So if you look straight down my band wheel here, you notice that the gullets are hidden behind the front of the band wheel. See that? This band is too far in. It needs to come out until the face, the deepest part of this gullet right here, is flush with the face of this band wheel. On this side, let's take a look over here. Oh, sorry about the, not gonna be able to get it to focus. This side's not as bad, but it is still in a little bit. So we have to adjust them both out. Since that side's worse, and I always look at it from over here, you can see it clearly at this angle. I always look from this side. It's pretty far in, probably at least a 1/16 of an inch. We got to get that blade to come out this way. And we do that with these track and adjustment screws right here. Now, I used to have on here, written in Sharpie, an arrow that said, go this way for in and go this way for out. It's kind of a dummy thing, because if you want the band to move out, screw this screw out. If you want the band to move in, screw this screw in. And I can tell from how bad it is, it's going to be about a half turn. That's probably going to fix some of this. So we're going to leave that side alone for right now, and we're going to do this side first. And I'm going to show you the result of that. Actually, I'm going to go handheld here because you're going to be able to see better. So I want this band to move out. So I am going to unscrew this. I'm going to screw this screw out, and I'm going to go a half a turn. So there's a quarter, there's a half-ish. Doesn't have to be exact. And then we're going to roll this thing through again in the direction of cut. I'm going to see what happens to our tracking over there. Oh, it came way out. All right. So right now, if you guys can see, hopefully with the sun, it's out actually a teeny little bit too far. It reacted a lot. I would imagine that this side came out too. We'll check this side in a second. We want to get this side perfect first, but it came out quite a bit, more than it needed to come out. It was probably twice what it needed to come out. So we're going to go back. We want it to go back in, so we're going to screw this in, go a quarter, and now we'll roll it again. Pretty simple procedure. If you're running their ceramic inserts, you have to do this a lot, but with the roller guides, you don't. I probably only have to do this really every now and then. Now, right now, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's absolutely dead perfect. It doesn't have to be to the 32nd of an inch, but it's dead perfect. This side over here, if I could. All right, so this side over here still looks like it's in a hair. I'm going to let that out just a hair. So again, we want this side to come out just a little bit. So we're going to screw this out, and it's not going to be very much. Out just maybe a little less than a quarter turn. And one thing you will notice as your tracking gets close, like real good, this is really going to free spin. I like to use my finger to go down like this so I can feel the gullet. It's still in just a hair. We might have to address that side afterwards. I can see those gullets are sticking out a hair now, which means that a problem might have been over here and not over there. But this goes pretty quick, guys. I'm going to come out just a hair more. Okay, so right now when I rub down this, I can just, with the edge of my finger, I can feel the gullet. The back side should be close to flush, but it should stick out just a teeny bit so that the body of the band between the gullet and the back edge are centered on the wheel. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to look over there. Oh, no, it's perfect. That side's perfect. Doesn't need anything. So right now we're all tracked up. We're all tensioned up. Let's throw the battery in this thing. All right, so I'm not sure what size wrench I need yet, but I'm just going to undo our battery holder and see if we get her flopped over just enough to get this battery top off. Hopefully there's juice in that other battery. Looks kind of like a 10 millimeter. And let's see. And it is a 10 millimeter. Doesn't look, I probably won't need one for both sides. We'll see in a second here. I'll always undo the ground first. On these, routing the cables on these is kind of crucial to be able to get the top of the battery box to go on. So the way that I have it is perfect. I want to just kind of keep my terminal wires here kind of in the right spot. I know that sounds weird, but trust me, it's not. I'm going to try and leave my terminal wires right close to where they go. We're going to pull this battery out, put the new one in. Hopefully new one has juice in it. I will keep that one. I'm going to throw that on a trickle charger and let it trickle charge it to see if sometimes some of the newer trickle chargers with computers and stuff like that, they can repair batteries. I'm just going to grab a piece of sandpaper / emery cloth, and I'm just going to clean up these terminals just a little bit, just to get any grunge off them. There's really nothing on them. If you guys keep seeing me look up, I'm just keeping an eye on Danny. He's over in the corner of the yard where he got out the other day. He knows he's not supposed to right now. He actually is kind of being on his best behavior. And let's put her back together. All right, now I'm just going to nick the key switch really quick and see if it's got a charge in it. Hopefully it does. Put my little terminal protectors on top of my old battery. Let's just nick the key switch and see if she makes noise. Yep. All right, now and don't leave the key switch on or you'll kill it because of the fuel pump and stuff like that. All right, we'll get this thing back strapped down. It's not super important to have this strap on here, really, unless you put your mill on the road or something like that. But I like to keep it on there. It looks nice and neat. And let's check the oil. So we're just going to yank our little dipstick here. I'm going to yank our little dipstick. And it looks good, but we're going to go ahead and double check anyway. Just happen to have a piece of bag from our nice newly shipped stuff. It's in the operating range. There's no sense on throwing a 1/16 of a quart in there for that, so we'll leave that alone. It looks fine. And this part of the mill, I did detension the band, by the way. I do detension the band, but I leave it right at that point where there's tension on it. We got to lube this thing up. So I'm going to show you how I do that. And the lube points here, as far as lubing the inside of the mill where all my hydraulics are on, I do that all the time. So there's no reason to do that. But I have to pick this up past 13 inches to go back to clear my log stops. I leave my log stops up so it's all ready. If I come wheeling around with a log on, then I can just throw it on the mill. And this has to be higher than 13 inches to be able to clear that. There are 2 pads in here. There are wiper pads, one on both sides. That gets automatic transmission fluid. Now I have a squeezy bottle of that you're going to see in a second, but it's kind of dumb to use it in here. These just kind of wipe the rails, lubricate the rails. I'm going to back you up a little bit. I'm going to show you, you have on a Norwood what's called an infinite clutch, which means you can stop anywhere you want, which is not like that on every mill in the world. Most have some sort of detent on them. So you have to put it in a detent. This mill is not that way. I can move it any amount and it stops. In here, there is a clutch, which is adjusted with this spring, this knob right here to adjust how easily it turns. And basically you want to loosen it until when you go down, it creeps. And then you want to tighten it up a little bit more. And when you go down, you want it to stop right where you stop. And in some cases, like maybe in my my wife's case. My wife likes it a little bit looser, on the looser side. I like it a little bit on the tighter side. 3-in-1 oil goes in there. Basically, you stick it in that, man, I keep with the innuendo. You stick it in this hole and you just squirt a little bit in there. That keeps that running and not squeaking, working like a top. And then we're going to put some automatic transmission fluid, at least I like to, on my uprights. I'll do the one on the other side. You will see where your uprights like to rub, and wherever they like to rub, I like to put it. And just, this is just a from time to time thing. You don't need to do it every day or anything like that, but from time to time, I throw some on there. And as far as the mill head goes, I think we're all good. Now, I didn't adjust my roller guides. I don't think I need to, but I need to level my mill to do that, because your only reference for whether they're level or not is if your mill's level, and I'm not going to go through that right now. I do have to clean those up in the next couple of days. I'm going to clean them up. They get crusted with crap and everything else. So let me get this thing down the other end of the mill, get it clamped down, and we'll go find Danny and see what's going on. Look at that big barrel of suck in there. I cut that off the end of a log in there the other day. Normally, I wrap a strap around it on the Bobcat, so if it does fall off, I can just lift it out, and I didn't. Oh, I don't remember what was going on, but I was kind of mad at the time. And now I'm going to have to come in here with some tongs and pick that out of there. Or wrap a strap around it and choke it and pick it out. One of the two, but that's got to come out. That's all I use to clamp my mill down, is just a little C-clamp right there. And I'm one of those neat freaks who likes to cover the mill unless there's absolutely zero chance of rain, which there is not any chance of rain tonight. I also do like to let mine down all the way to 1 inch. And on these HD36s, you don't want to go past that. You never want to, you never, ever, 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 ever want to go lower than 1 inch, because what happens is your tension cables in there, if they slack off, they'll twist. So you don't ever want to take all the tension off those cables. You see the one over there? You definitely do not want to go below 1 inch. Below 1 inch, they will slack off and they will twist. And if they twist, they will start to fray and they will break and everything else. So you don't want to do that. So guys, thanks for coming along on a short one here. I'm tired. A lot of carrying around big, heavy 8x8s, true 8x8s yesterday. And I'm ready to take a break. And I still got to bring a whole Bobcat bucket load of wood in the house. So I got to get cleaned up out here, get all my stuff put away. Keep an eye on Knucklehead over there. Can you see him? Oh, there he is. That's the corner of the yard that he went out of the other day. So I kind of got to keep an eye on him when he's over there. If you guys have any questions about maintaining a Norwood mill, don't hesitate to hit me up. I find that the more that you do stuff, the easier it gets. Some of that stuff would be complicated to somebody who's never done it before, especially like changing the belts and stuff like that. They'd be on the Facebook page, MF in Norwood, you know, oh, the belt's too small, can't get it on this side. And, you know, oh, why are the bolts for the tensioner angle behind the band wheel and I can't get to them and blah, 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 blah. But it is just that easy, guys. The tracking's just that easy. Changing the belts is just that easy. Changing a blade is just that easy. It takes, you know, minutes to change a blade. Let me show you the glinting on the teeth of the Stella Cut band. That's what I almost forgot. So that you can see what I see. I'll try to give you the best view that I can in the sunlight. What you want to do is you want to look down with the sun facing right into the front portion of the tooth. This top of this tooth right here should be sharp. It should not reflect light, and you can see this one does, and this one does. If they reflect light, that means that there's a flat facet on there that can reflect light. Now, like I was saying before, this band was still cutting fine. See if I can see it on this one here. I can see the glinting. This one here. So these aren't like roached, but they don't have a point on them anymore. So this will still cut, but if you keep running it like this, eventually they're going to start building up heat and you're going to break them. You see the glinting on that one right there. Hopefully you can see it as good as I can. You better. So that tip of that tooth should not reflect light. Now the stellite inserts are still sharp, but you can definitely, without a doubt, see the glinting on the face of that tooth right there. And that is, will it cut? Yes. Will it shave a fingernail? No. Will not shave a fingernail. It's just rounded over slightly enough, or enough to make a flat spot to be able to reflect sunlight, which is no bueno. But it takes about, on these bands, somewhere 2,000 to 3,000 board feet, depending on how dirty a wood that you're cutting, to get them dull. I've run 3,000 on them. So this one is still completely good, just needs a little dinky little face grind. I have to grind this over to 7 degrees from 10 anyway. So I'm going to write on this band that it's new, which will tell me that all it needs is a face grind and not a full gullet grind. Because all I'm going to do is sharpen the teeth over to 7. That's all I got for you guys today. I am going to go get some wood in the house and chill out, take a little medicine to get some of this pain out of my shoulders and stuff like that. And we'll get ready to mill some lumber tomorrow. We got a bunch of stuff on the list, and I'm not sure what we're going to start with yet, but we'll get started on something. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Danny will see you tomorrow. Like, share, subscribe, hit the little thumbs up, hit the notifications bell so you know when a video comes out from us. If you need something from Norwood, go in the description below, and you can use my Norwood affiliate link. Just copy and paste it to your browser, and it will take you right to Norwood's sell site. You can go in there, and if there's any specials or anything, if you want to buy the belts or the bands or anything that I use, you can buy them right there, and it tells Norwood that you came from my video. So always appreciate the watch, guys. And for now, for Danny and myself, it is Pirate Solutions out.